Well, this film, what I'd like to know is what came first, the idea about a film about these three girls, the setting of the water and the synchronized swimming. Did it come all together to you, the idea, or in sections?
Well, I really wanted to make a movie about girls, from the girls' perspective, because cinema has been celebrating women for a century now, but mostly men have done the talking. And
Can everybody hear?
No, you don't hear me? You hear me better this way?
You have to speak a little bit louder.
So yeah, I really wanted to make a movie about girls from the girls' perspective. And I felt that that story hadn't been told a lot yet. I came up with the synchronized swimming right in the beginning of the process of writing, because this is kind of a memory from my own teenagehood, the synchronized swimming obsession. And basically the first scene of the movie really happened to me when I was a teenager. I went to a synchronized swimming exhibition by chance. These things happened. And I became totally obsessed with this. And of course I didn't do what my characters do, because it's all fiction. But the starting point and the setting of the synchronized swimming was at the beginning of the writing.
Being a cineast, I couldn't help thinking of Busby Berkeley, Esther Williams, and all kinds of Leni Riefenstahl in Olympia. But it's very strong, this background.
Yeah,
and what about the suburban setting? Is that also something personal?
Yeah, that's my hometown, I must confess. But I didn't pick it because it was my hometown. I picked it because, as you saw, it's really bizarre. It is
very strange.
Yeah, it's all been shot in the same town, and you can't believe that, those columns, they really exist. It's kind of Gattaca looking, but it's true. And I chose it because, to me, it was visually very interesting, and it is a true city which totally symbolizes that kind of suburbs, the one where nothing happens. But also, it was a great place to set a fiction, because it could be the suburbs of, Paris, but also the suburbs of here, or the suburbs of Northern Europe. So it was a place where you could really dream of cinema, and it was real. So
not like our suburbs at all. I think we'll turn it over to the audience now, and I'll take some questions. Yes. Did everybody hear that? Why did she bury her bra? Why do they act so weird?
She buries a bra because she believes that's kind of a magical thing. She believes that if she buries a bra in the boy's garden, because it's the garden of the boys she loves, maybe he will love her, And actually it works, because right afterwards...
The magic works.
Yeah. And they're doing really weird things, because I think, when you fall in love and you don't know yet that you are in love, you're acting really weird, and maybe you didn't do the bra thing, but I'm sure you did some very strange things too. You might think about it too,
Yes. This woman is being quite complimentary about the film and wants to know about the casting, how you approach that.
Well, I really wanted the girls to be the age of the parts, because, we tend to take older girls to play 15-year-olds, and I quite never buy it, on the screen. And they're non-professional. We went hunting for them everywhere, in the streets, in the shopping malls, in the high schools. And they came in 3 different ways. Pauline Aka, who plays Marie, the leading part, we found her in a public garden. She was hanging out with friends. Louise Blacher, who plays a chubby friend, she came by mail because she sent pictures, because we put an ad in a magazine.
They didn't act before, those two?
No. And Adèle Haenel, the blonde, beautiful swimmer, she had already been in a feature film when she was a child, so we remembered her. And, to me, it was part of the honesty of the project, that they would really be young and they would really be non-professional, because I was sure that they were struggling with the same kind of stuff in their own life, and I was sure that they were going to be pretty serious about what we were going to do, and that they were going to be really committed to the story we were going to tell. So that's why it seemed fair to have such a casting.
Yes, in the white shirt was Catherine Breillat's fat girl. Was that an inspiration for this film because he saw some similarities?
Well, I know Catherine Breillat's work, and I like it when she goes around teenagehood, mostly. But it's not an inspiration, but mostly, the press in France has related the film to Catherine Breillat's work, but they didn't know really what to say. Some said that was neo-Breillat, new Breillat, and some said that was totally anti-Breillat. So I don't know what I am. I guess I'm not Breillat, but I like what she does. Yeah.
There are no parents.
That was a decision for the second version of the script. At first, there were parents, but they were so boring because I wasn't interested at all about telling the relationship between teenagers and parents, and so I really got rid of them.
It would be a different film entirely.
Yes, and also it was because I really wanted the room, the audience, to identify to a 15-year-old girl. And when you put a grown-up, an adult, I mean, if you're an adult, you're going to identify, you're going to relate to this. And I didn't want that. So that's why I got rid of adults and also of boys, because even though they are male figures, they are no characters. They don't have any point of view. We don't know what they think or what they feel. So
the boys are window dressing.
Yeah, they are toy boys. But, I'm not saying... could anticipate a question, but I'm not saying that men don't have any points of view. I'm just saying that I'm not showing it to stick to my character's point of view. And I think when you're a teenager, you don't get boys, and boys don't get you. You don't really dialogue. You just mysteries. So I think it was kind of fair to just let them apart.
Can you talk about the music that's in the film?
Yeah, it's been composed for the film. It was composed during the editing of the movie, so we worked. It influenced a lot the editing of the movie, and the editing influenced a lot the music. It was really sur mesure. I don't know how you say that in English, but it's prêt-à-porter, right?
Ready to wear, ready
it's custom,
made.
Yeah, it's
made to order.
And I worked with a young guy who was mostly producing rap music and techno. He's my friend. He's also a director. We were at film school together. I think he's quite popular here, but I don't know if you know him.
What's his name?
His name is Parawan. You're not very clubbing people.
Me
neither. I don't know the guy. I just no. He's just my friend. I never heard. And so I picked. I chose not to put too much music in the movie because, sometimes there are movies where there's music all over and you just don't even hear it. And I didn't want it to be like a commentary on what happens. So there's very few music, but the moment it occurs are very well chosen. Well, I don't know if they're well chosen, but they are chosen. And I chose electronic music because I think it's really a cinematographic music. I don't see why, it's the new classical music to me because it's really powerful in a matter of emotion, but it's also it participates to the whole sound design of the movie, and you can really work it, mix it with the ambience and everything. So it's a really powerful material and very fun to play with. And there's a CD, maybe import. You can find it. I don't know.
Yes, in the back. What is the name of the town where you shot?
You want to move there, right? So the name is Cergy-Pontoise, and it's northwest of Paris, 30 kilometers from Notre Dame. Very nice place to live.
Very small?
Yeah, quite small. Once you've left, you think, it was a nice place to live.
How did Céline capture all that intensity? Was it done in one or two takes, or was it something that took time?
Well, both, actually, because there were very few takes 2 or 3 takes. But everything was really calculated because there were no improvisation, and it's really, the rhythm is really, really accurate. And you know, I talk a lot to the girls during the scenes. You don't hear it because we took it away, hopefully, but so it's very, very precise, and I didn't want any improv at all. And you know, but because I wanted them to be really focused, because that's what's really hard for girls that are non-professionals, that they are not, they can be unfocused. So we shot very few takes because that put a lot of pressure on everybody, and also a lot of plan séquence. How do you say that? When you don't cut, you know, plan, long take shot.
Long
Yeah,
takes.
long takes, as you can see, and so that we really capture moments that really happens. You know, it's not about editing them. So
I was struck by the way you combine the humor with the intensity.
yeah, I was happy. I stayed in the room, and I was happy to hear that there were laughs. And
because there are a lot of funny things that happen, and at the same time, you know, the tension that builds is there too. So that's an achievement.
Thanks.
Yes.
I wrote for 8 months at first. Then I met my producer right away, right after that, and I rewrite for 4 months. So it's been a year of writing. And then we shot 6 months right after that, and we shot for 36 days. And then there was the editing process that took 3 months, and then the sound editing that took 2 months, and then mixing that took a month, and then it was the Cannes Film Festival. So it's a year and a half, I guess.
As you did this for your thesis, did they give you a time limit?
Yeah, the screenplay was for my graduation script, so I had a year to do it.
And where was that?
It was at La Fémis, which is the National Film School in France.
Right. We've seen films made in suburbs, maybe just not this kind of suburb.
Yeah, not this kind of suburb. And I picked it on purpose because the geography, the geography of French cinema is mostly Paris, and then if you don't shoot in Paris, it's like something's happening. But the French people really didn't quite talk about that. Well, they don't even know it's Sergi. I mean, I was in Japan last week, and all the Japanese were talking to me about Sergi, like they know better Sergi than the French people. That's amazing.
Like the architecture?
Yeah, they're all gonna move. All the Japanese are gonna come to Sergi with a bunch of people in that room. But I chose that particular suburbs because it's not the suburb you usually shoot when you're French, because you tend to shoot the suburbs where there are riots and car burning. And to me, that suburb is really about France today and about all the kind of, about modern society. It's the middle class suburbs, and middle class is like l'enjeu, how do you say that? Well, middle class is about today, you know, it's the people that, you get what it's political also. As for the subject matter, well, as I said, I wanted to make a movie about girls, and from their perspective, and I wanted to have 3 characters to embrace more fiction and more problematics, because it's a problematic to be kind of ugly, but it's also a tragedy to be too beautiful, and I wanted to compose a portrait of the rise of femininity with complex and subtle characters, and I was going to say something else. Sorry? Oh yeah. Yeah, it was shown at first in 60 cinemas in France, and I mean 8 months. Now it's been 8 months, and it's done 150 theaters in France, and it's been doing 80,000 admissions, which is kind of cool for such a independent, cheap movie.
So it's considered a success.
Yes, it's kind of a success. Yeah. Huh. Nobody's ever told me that. I want to say yes because I think it's cool. Um, I,
You
I
were a French literature major, you said.
yeah, and I know Sartre pretty well, but I never thought of this as an influence. But I read it when I was 15 years old and very keen on synchronized swimming, so maybe, you know. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Yes.
What's next? Well, I've been promoting the movie a lot, so basically it's been kind of that for the past year. But I'm writing for French TV right now, for a TV series, having fun doing that. And, you know, everything has to be done in as a matter of TV in France. So it's a fantastic sci-fi, fantastic TV show. So you can see really far away from my aliens over there. And hopefully I hope I'll get back to writing, you know, in the next 6 months. I hope, I want to have fun, so comedy would be cool. Feminist, but comedy, you know. Who knows?
If you want to buy the score, can you do that?
Yes, you can. I guess on the internet it should be possible. And the title of the movie, of the score, is Music to and from Naissance des Pieuvres, Birth of the Octopuses.
Which is the French title of,
Yeah.
French title of Water Lilies.
Birth of the Octopuses, but in French it's Naissance des Pieuvres. But you could type Para 1, which is easier to remember, and you'll find the score. Para like paradox, and 1 like 1.
I think the score is very seductive.
Yeah.
Everybody likes it.
Well, because it was too James Bond like, and doesn't work really well in English, I guess. But I like the English and American title. I think it's more light. It's lighter than the French title, but it suits him. I think it's really attractive. So.
Well, thank you so much for the film.
Thank you.